The designer of this garden is specifying a number of lights. They are of different types. What the designer would like to be able to do is to extract from the drawing the number of lights of each particular type. That can only be done if each light is turned into a block. Let's zoom in on one of the existing lights. It's a path light, so that if we pick it, you can see that the light consists of some hatching and an external circle, two entities. We can't get an entity total out of the drawing. What we want to do is turn this light into a block. The way we do that is to right click and say we're going to create a block. Name could be a path light, not a wall light. Path light, we're asked to pick a base point. We'd want to select the center of the circle as our base point. We want to convert this one to a block as we do so, and we could even put the name of the manufacturer here in that description. So if we go OK, what we now have is, if I click on the hatching in the middle, it selects both the hatching and the outer circle. So that's been turned into a block. In fact, you can see that by coming over here and seeing block reference is to a path light. So provided I go through the drawing and substitute each one of these lights for a proper block, let's do that now. We'll eliminate that one, erase it, go to the blocks and pick path light and insert into this drawing, as we can bring it in and pop it down at that point there. So now we know the position of that path light. There's another one down here, and you'll notice if I pick on that one symbol, click in here, it's still a combination. So I need to go through the drawing and clean things up and make every instance of a light a block. Once we've done that, we can go to gCADPlus, extract, and extract all block information. It'll extract to what's called an XML file, and that can be brought into Excel. The previous extract pulled all of the blocks out. You saw them being highlighted. A much neater approach, because we have all these on the one layer, is to say we're going to extract by layer. And in this down list here, we can select the layer we want, and we'll say lighting, and we'll say block extract lights layer to distinguish it from the previous one, and we'll save. So now we can swing to Excel again and import that data. Well, I've now converted all of the symbols for lighting into individual blocks. Let's just zoom in on one or two. So if we click here and zoom in and select that one, if you look over here, that's one called large bullet. If we hit this one here, that's a path light, and so on. So all of the symbols, all of the lighting symbols on the lighting layer have been turned into blocks. What we can now do is go gCADPlus, extract all blocks, and that'll give us the opportunity to pull a list of all the blocks out from the drawing. You can see everything gets highlighted, but in fact the blocks that we want will be on their own layer, or a lighting layer, and we should be able to deal with them quite easily. So we're asked for a file name, and I'll just go to my temporary folder on the C drive, and we'll call it block extract lights. Good idea to make the name as meaningful as you can, and we can click save. So that information has now been exported. What I'll now do is start Excel and import that CSV file into Excel. Well, rather than take all of the information out to an Excel file, it's much better to use the option that we've put here called extract by layer, and up pops a layer dialog box, and you can select the layer you want. Of course, in this case we want lighting, and we can go OK. You might well notice if I move away that all the lights have been highlighted but the rest been left. And what I've done, I've been rehearsing this, I've saved that as a block extract lights layer and I'll overwrite it. So now we're ready to go into Excel. So now we're in the Excel environment. We can swing from the Home tab to the Data tab. So you'll probably be there on the Home tab. Click the Data tab and we're going to bring in information from another source. So it's from a text file, isn't it? A CSV file is a straight text file, block extract lights layer. We import it. The wizard will run and we're asked to choose the file type that describes your data. Yes, we're using commas as a separator. My data has a header, so we don't want that header separated out in that way. We say next. And what is our delimiter? Our delimiter is a comma, not a tab. So we're getting a preview of how it may well look. Next. We can set the data format for each of these, but I think for the moment we'll finish and have a look at our first sheet. We're asked where we want to put this data, and so in it goes. We can double click on there and stretch those out a little to make it a little easier to read. So you can see what has been done. We have all the large bullets, the path lights, the small bullets, and the wall lights all sorted in order. And it's going to be a comparatively easy matter to using the count function, probably a count ASCII function, count A, to total those up. So I hope that gives you a pretty good idea of how you can pull data out of gCADPlus and put it into an Excel sheet. By the way, you also know the X and Y coordinates of the location of each one of those lights. So if that was translated to a set out point, or an X and a Y from a set out point, you could quickly go around and place the lights where they need to be without any difficulty.